welcome everyone. I'm very exciting to be there for this session today about AI and Agentic. I'm Thibaut Pellet, Head of Product at Worldline, working on new payments, and I'm thrilled to be with Juliette Bale, Head of Product AI and Innovation. Welcome, Juliette.
Hello, Thibaut.
I have a first question for you. We've seen the development of AI for now 3 years. It's been quite impressive. And I wanted to have your view on what's happened those past 3 years.
Yes, you're right. A lot of things happened since 3 years now. So we've seen a lot of things. And we all remember this first time we asked our favorite chatbot for a joke or something like that. But since then, a lot of things have changed and improved. If you think about image generation, for example, now we can even generate our own movie with our favorite characters or friends. So it really evolved a lot, and I don't think 3 years from now we could imagine what we can have today in our hands. So this is the first thing, and I think it's not just about a tool that we are now used to use on a daily basis, but it's also the way we interact with the world that changed. And for me, the next frontier is commerce, because we see that there is a lot of discussion currently around commerce and AI, and I think this is where AI can also change the way we are shopping. What about you, Thibaut? What is your view on this evolution?
You mentioned something that for me is very true, is the change of interface. For me, it's really about that, what's behind AI, because it's been like 20 years that we haven't seen a change in the platform, in what we call the platform. And now with the AI, we really see a change in the way we interact with the technology. We used to interact with technology through a computer before then, through smartphone, with the introduction of the iPhone, for instance. And we had those operating systems such as iOS or Android, and developers created apps. So it was really game changer for the industry. It changed a lot of things. But since then, nothing happened, I would say something new. With the AI, for the first time, something new is happening. We are seeing a new platform that is being created. We are seeing new apps which are now directly bundled into the LLM. And it changed really the way we interact, because less and less we are going through our browser to query the web, but we're just asking ChatGPT or Gemini for something. And we interact through the interfaces of ChatGPT. And for me, it changed a lot of the use case that we have in the industry. It is really the core foundation of the way we interact with the digital world that is changing with the AI. So, a question for you, Juliette, because you mentioned the agentic, you teased a bit the agentic and the commerce. But maybe let's start first with a brief recap, simple for the audience. Could you explain what is agentic commerce and maybe what is also an agent?
Yes, so when we are talking about agentic AI, we are thinking about an AI that doesn't wait for your next click, for your next query. It has some autonomy. It can be able to perform research for you, to take action, and also to make plan to take those actions. So take one example. If you want to buy some new running shoes, you will ask, I want to buy some new running shoes, and I want it to be less than $80. AI, as we know it, will do some research and propose you some products. But with agentic AI, the agent will plan and take some action for you. So it will, yes, propose you some option, but as it knows you and your what you like in terms of shoes, it will be according to your preferences. It will browse through a recommendation website for you, for example. It will ask you maybe the type of trails that you are running, this kind of stuff, to come with some recommendation. And in some case, it will also perform the purchase for you, even when we are sleeping. So you can have new shoes even when you are sleeping.
That's a good news. It's good to know. Thank you, Juliette. Well, we see with your answer that really it will shift the market and have really a strong impact on the commerce. And currently, when we look at the market with the different LLM, the different agents, we see that with a lot of announcement from a lot of different players. Think of MasterCard, Visa. We see that they are trying to create a framework for those agents because it redefines the way system communicates with each other. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about how the market is evolving on this field, or they are trying to reach a standardization?
Yeah, so for now, it's still very fragmented. There is no clear standard at the moment. We can see a lot of announcements, as you said. So, for example, OpenAI, they have their own solution. Google, they announced an open source protocol, which is Agent Payment Protocol. And Visa and MasterCard also have their own solution. So really, for the moment, it's quite difficult to know who will be the winner. So what could be a good thing to do in those moments is to follow the trend, test some things, and decide later what standard to adopt. And this fragmentation, I think, is normal. It's a normal phase because we are seeing a lot of factors, but it's like every major technology shift, and we will see some standard emerge in the future. So we can start, test with some, and at least we will see what works in production, So now, Thibaut, if we narrow down to payment, what is your view on all of that?
I think it's interesting because even though there is different stakeholders, different players trying to create frameworks around the payment for the agents, we agree that it's going in the same direction, which means the payment value chain, it will evolve, but it will not change that much. But it will bring new opportunities. But I will come back on this point. The way I see it is really for the payment chain to upgrade, actually. But we will still need the same components. I mean, for instance, if you take the fraud, we will still need to perform some fraud, even more than before. You will still need to onboard also, maybe not this time a client, but maybe an agent. So you see, if you look at the payment value chain, it will still exist, it will be very important, and it will need to adapt to this new way to communicate, which means through the agent. And I really see new opportunities as well, because I will take an example with the wallet, for instance, which I believe is quite interesting. Quite some years ago with iOS, etc., we've seen that the tech providers started to come into play in this field with their wallet, what we call the XPay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. And the banks let this market. They try to fight, but they let it market. The interesting thing, opportunity that I see is now the wallet is even more important because it is a bit the entry door for the payment also through this LLM. You mentioned to buy the shoes, for instance. To buy the shoes, you need to have a wallet where you have your payment mean, where you have your shipping address and all that things. So I really see an opportunity as well for the wallet provider to come back a bit in the game, in the field, as we can say, and which can really bring new opportunities and also new opportunities for banks or merchants who will adopt those new standards faster than the other. Because, as I said, new interface, new channels, a new way to interact with the product, a new way to do commerce, to buy some things. So it's really for them an opportunity to be the first to be integrated through those new interface and to have in the background the payment system being adapted and upgrading to support this new channel. So, Juliette, I mentioned the fraud and the payment value chain. And for me, there is one critical question, something that will really change is who is making the payment? Today, it's you. Tomorrow, it will be your agent, probably. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with this delegation? Because you delegate the payment at the end. How do you ensure that it is safe and you bring the trust for the consumers?
Yeah. So here, what we are used to as a consumer is to use our bank for this trust today. And I think we can still use our bank as a trust provider on this new ecosystem. So obviously, it will change a lot of things for bank because in the agentic workflow, we don't use the bank. We could do without them, but who will reassure the consumer when the agent is a fraudulent one, when the product is not the good one, or any other use case we can think of? So this is where I think the bank can really bring value, but it means that they will also need to adjust their value proposition, because bank have been for decades be in the center of the customer experience. And now they will have to understand new patterns because they are used to user and consumer patterns to detect fraud based on that also. But now what we want to detect and what we want to be sure is that the agent has the right delegation to make a purchase. So it's really a shift in the way that bank need to understand this new payment workflow. But it's also a lot of new opportunities, as you mentioned. Because bank has a strong customer knowledge, they know their habits, their preferred merchants, their preferred payment means. All of this is data that is truly valuable when talking about agentic commerce.
Love what you are saying because at the end, it's bank as the trust layer.
Yeah.
On that, I believe that you have a surprise for us, maybe to understand better what it will look like in the future.
Yeah, so we prepared a demo to show our vision, how we think in the future you can, as a user, make an agentic commerce purchase. So I will show it to you now. On my phone, I'm opening my Gemini agent, the one I am using these days, and I will ask Gemini to help me for something because, I want to see Taylor Swift next year in Paris. I'm quite sure she will do a new tour, and I want to be part of that. So, the agent will ask me some question to know what I want to do, what is my budget, this kind of thing. And what is new here is that the agent is proposing to delegate the purchase to it. So it means I can click on this button. Yes, I would like to delegate the purchase. And he will give me what we call an intent mandate. So it's basically the contract terms of what I am agreeing on delegating to the agent. So you can see that I will buy Taylor Swift ticket. I have my list of merchants, a price range, etc. So if I'm okay with that, I will confirm. And here it's interesting because I can choose the payment provider and the mandate signature provider. Of course, we can think about wallet here. Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, a lot of other providers. But what we can also imagine here at this step, and what we think is the right way to do it, would be to use my bank. Because as a consumer, I'm used to finalize my purchase with my bank. So I'm used to click on this notification to open my bank account. This is a screen that is quite similar to the type of screen I'm seeing when I'm doing a credit card payment online. I even have a notification. You are about to authorize a direct debit as part of a purchase delegation by an external AI agent. I can see that this agent is trusted by my bank. It's quite reassuring, Okay, and here I can see the mandate I'm about to sign. So I have a price range, a mean of payment, and I can see the details. Okay, it seems good to me. I will sign using my biometry. Okay, and I can go to the agent app. Gemini is telling me that he's searching for me and that I will receive a notification when it's done. So let's see. I mean, what I will do if I would put my phone, go to sleep, and imagine it's the next morning. I'm waking up. Oh, I got a notification at midnight. I think it's the time the tickets went online.
Ooh.
Let's see. Oh, it's actually good. It worked. I have my tickets. It's next year, October 19th, if you want to come.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so here what we just saw, it's experience of end user, you know. So what is important here is that as a customer experience, I am used to this kind of workflow, you know. I did the pre-authorization with my bank. I can review the mandate. I signed it. We agreed on a contractual term. So it's something that is quite reassuring. And it's okay for me to go to sleep if I know that the agent is trusted by my bank and also that he will respect the term of the contract.
And if I may, not only it's trust for you, but it's also trust for the merchant, because when the agent bought the tickets, the merchant knew that the agent had the mandate to do it.
Mm, exactly.
That's fascinating, because I believe it's really a way to keep the banks really in its core function, which is the trust.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting to see that in action, actually.
Mm.
I believe banks could have even a broader role than just the trust to sign the mandate.
Yeah.
Do you have something for us also on this?
Yes, we thought about that also. So, as you mentioned, banks are the trust layer. And why are they the trust layer? Also because they give control to the customer. And to give control, what we thought about is to include into your banking app some new features linked to agentic commerce. So you can go to your shopping agent settings and you will find a lot of stuff. Agentic mandates. So it will list all the mandates that you sign with any agents. So here you can find if the agents are trusted by your banks or not, what is the expiration date of the mandate, etc. So, for example, let's say I have this mandate that is running. It's for blue sneakers. Okay, so it's an external agent. It's not trusted by my bank, and furthermore, I already bought some shoes, so I don't need this anymore, and I can't find my shopping agent in my phone. You know, I have a Gemini, Mistral, OpenAI. A lot is going on. So what I will do, I could search for the agent and ask him to delete the mandate. But what I will do here, I will use the control my bank is proposing to me. I will revoke the mandate. So yes, I'm sure I don't want this anymore. Okay. And of course, my bank is recommending also to revoke the mandate through the agent. But at least it's done. It's like when your card is stolen and you need to block it just to be sure, you know. Okay. So now, another type of control that could be really powerful. We already see the trusted agent. A list of trusted agents by the bank with some recognized and verified agent, you know, to ensure trust, reduce fraud, etc. But also authorized merchants, because bank is in the middle and is able to protect us from both sides, you know. So merchant, for example, if I don't want to shop from certain shop, I can blacklist them. And if I don't want to use some type of merchant, I can also blacklist or whitelist them. Okay? And one last thing that is already existing in your banking app, I'm sure, but it's something that could really make sense in an agentic commerce ecosystem. It's the virtual card issuing. Because imagine if you don't want the agent to have access to your banking account or to your credit card, your regular credit card, it's really easy to just issue a virtual card with a one-time use, for example, settings. So, for example, for my Taylor Swift tickets, or to have also multiple time virtual cards so that all your agents use this as a payment mean. So really here what we want to show is that the bank is really in good position to give control and keep the customer at the center of the ecosystem.
Exciting. I mean, it's very impressive, and what I love the most about that is that you started first with bank as the trust layer. So even though in the journey we could feel the bank is not here anymore, we see the bank is still here to bring this trust. But what is even better, I would say, is that we find and we prove the way for banks to bring value also for the consumers. Not only on the trust, but also on the way to manage the agent, to link their existing product, such as the virtual card. So that's very interesting to see all of that combined together to create a full end-to-end experience for the consumers bring by the banks.
Yeah.
To conclude this session, Juliette, I have just one final question for you, which is very simple. What would be your advice, shortly, for the banks? Because we can see it might be an opportunity or it might be a risk, but it has to be done well. So what would be your one advice for the banks listening to us?
So I think the important thing is not to wait for a standard to be fully adopted to get on the train, because it will be too late. It will happen soon. We're talking about months. And we need to really experiment, test, make some prototypes, talk to customer, to end user, and to see what is the market adopting. But we need to be ready very fast.
Okay, so to conclude, make POC.
Yes.
Keep in touch with the market.
Yes.
And don't wait for standardization.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Juliette, thank you very much for being there today. It was, I believe, very interesting. And thank you to the audience. And stay connected for what's coming next and how Worldline is moving toward the agentic commerce.